All right, so we're gonna keep going, and they have breastplates as if it was breastplates of iron. Okay, and we see that they have a metal chassis, a metal core. Okay, metal breastplates. All right, locusts don't have metal breastplates, and the sound of their wings has the sound of chariots of many horses running the battle. That's how they sound. Shoo! Right, when you hear the ba 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 ba, it sounds like horses or chariots. It's very loud. Okay. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And that 5 months really means 5 years. Just about 1914 to 1918, it's just about 4 years, almost 5 years. Okay. So we're gonna go into a little bit. But yeah, that's what it's talking about. You know, sometimes you had gunners at the front, but you also had rear gunners. Okay. I just want to show you an example. Yeah, see, rear gunners. Sometimes you had them in the front, sometimes you had them in the back. All right. This one has the guy in the front and the guy in the back. Okay. So we kind of went down a little bit. But we're gonna go back to the beginning because I want to make some more points. And yeah, and to them was given power that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as a torment of the scorpion when he strike at the man. Okay, what is that going into? Those planes are striking people, and those artillery shells, right? They were giving people shell shock, you know. Which usually they say is from the bombs, but it's also from those planes. It's from the war itself. Seeing all those people die, it was fucking easy. You saw Edomites up, all right, as well as Jake. Which when you see the video by the elders on Revelation and Death, there was around 20,000 Jakes down there, mostly guys from the Caribbean. You know, 20,000 to 50,000. You know, just very few of them died. And actually, since I already brought it up, you know, there you go, African Americans in the military during World War I. The notable exceptions were the soldier who fought on the front lines and the 92nd and 93rd Infantry Divisions. The 369th Infantry Regiment, known as the Harlem Hellfighters, were assigned to the French Army in April 1918. In this post, the Hellfighters saw much action, fighting in the Second Battle of the Marne as well as the Meuse-Argonne Offensive. For his valiant and brave actions during World War I, Private Henry Johnson became the first American to receive the Croix de Guerre, and an additional 170 members of the 369th were also awarded the French Medal. The 370th Infantry Regiment, given the name Black Devils by Germans, were also assigned to the French Army. This was the only unit to be commanded by black officers. Corporal Freddie Stowers was a standout soldier among the 371st Infantry. During the Meuse-Argonne offensive, Stowers led troops to a German line in spite of receiving mortal wounds. He was recommended for the Medal of Honor shortly after his death, but it was not processed and awarded until 1991. Damn devils. But yeah, it wasn't just Esau in that war. But I don't believe I played this. You fucking Edomites. This is how they gonna look like in the kingdom too. Look at this nigga. This nigga's all fucked up. These fucking dickheads deserve it. That's why we're laughing. Yeah, yeah, whatever. We don't give a shit. But yeah, these Edomites were getting fucked up. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. You know? Um, let's see here. I believe I think I showed the images. I'm probably not gonna go get them, but you see the images in the opening, you know. And I already explained this. On their heads was crowns of gold. Okay, the crowns of gold of those German helmets, and their faces were as the faces of men. Okay, which you know is going into those high-ranking Imperial Prussian officers. And I already talked about the hair. I talked about the scorpions, stings in their tails, hurt men 5 months, 5 years, and I went into how those are these rear gunners. Okay, which are these rear gunners? I think I closed it off. But you saw them, and they had a king over them. Yeah, I'm not gonna really go into this, but you know, you can watch the full thing on Revelation the 9th chapter in depth. All right, if you can't find it, send me a link in the comments and I'll bring it up. And I pulled up various battles here just to kind of push the point home. Now, these are various points. Well, I didn't even know that they had chemical rounds used in the artillery, you know, and that they actually to this day they still have red zones because of unexploded mines and other bombs. Okay, but this is an important battle here. I'm just gonna kind of talk about the quick Cliff Notes version. Essentially, the Germans wanted to push into the fortress of Verdun, which was held by the French. The Germans wanted to stop an ally, the Allies from coordinating themselves and making a full-on offensive. They failed, so they were just kind of fighting over this one little piece of land for hours, you know, for days. Let's see how long it was. Yeah, for months. My bad. Yeah. In which the French repulsed a major German offensive. It was one of the longest, bloodiest, and most ferocious battles of the war. French casualties mounted to about 400,000, Germans ones to about 350,000. Some 300,000 were killed. Okay? Slovakia. So these Edomites were just going at it, man. Back and forth. And that's why, you know, yep, and Revelation chapter 20 verse 2, and he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bowed him 1,000 years. That's why you're an old devil, you fucking serpent. You people, you don't even care about each other, man. And y'all want to be the first ones to say, oh, we care about you. No, you niggas don't even care about each other. You guys send each other to the meat grinder. That's all this was. This was a meat grinder. Oh, Slocky, I think that's the door. I'm gonna come right back. Alright, Shalom, I'm back again. I had to go take care of some small business. So here, yeah, we were going over most of these wars. Battle over Verdun. As I said, one of the longest, bloodiest, most ferocious battles. This battle here led up into this one, the Battle of the Somme. This is another important battle. Took place from July to November 1916. Okay, they took place, you know, just about the same time. But this battle, because the French were holding the German back here, freed up the Allies for this one, for an Allied offensive against German forces on the Western Front. Okay, and this battle was, you know, very costly. Okay, German losses by the end of the Battle of Somme was probably exceeded Britain's, with some 450,000 soldiers lost compared with 420,000 in the British Isle. The surviving British force also gained valuable experience, which would later help them achieve victory on the Western Front. All right, so I guess we're gonna hit some more quick points about this war, mainly going into American involvement, and then we're gonna go into uh, how the war ended. Because when you go into Revelation chapter, not Revelation, Daniel chapter 7, a lot of things that I was hit on sometimes is going into these main big battles that ended and allowed for the transition of power. Okay, because when you read in Revelation chapter 9, okay, when you keep reading, you learn how, and he had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew was Abaddon. It's Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue, his name is Apollyon. Chapter 11. Okay, and yeah, it's talking about Kaiser Wilhelm. All right, and this one woe is past, verse 12. One woe is past, behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Now it's talking about World War I is over, World War II and World War III are gonna come. Okay, and World War II passed, and we're currently in World War III, which is kind of like a Cold War at the moment. World War III, mostly battles on the internet, proxy wars, cyber attacks, you know. But it's gonna eventually spike up, and the real World War III is gonna come when there's gonna be actual nuclear combat. You know, there's actually gonna be swapping of nukes, which is gonna come soon. Okay, but right now we just gotta have nations against nations, you know, pestilences, and famines, and earthquakes. You know, that's what we're dealing with now. There has to be some persecutions, and then there's gonna be those nukes, and we're gonna be delivered. Okay, and the battle of Armageddon, and then we're gone. That's it. Okay, so going into more. January 19th, 1917, the British intercept a telegram sent by Alfred Zimmerman in the German Foreign Office to the German embassies in Washington, D.C. and Mexico City. Its message outlines plans for an alliance between Germany and Mexico against the United States. According to the scheme, Germany would provide tactical support, while Mexico would benefit by expanding into the American Southwest, retrieving territories that had once been a part of Mexico. The Zimmerman telegram is passed along by the British to the Americans and is then made public, causing an outcry from interventionists in the U.S. This former President Teddy Roosevelt, who favored American military involvement in the war. Okay, which it shows you how much of a devil this guy is, man. Because he could have just gave the land back to the people. You know, he should have given the land back, because you know they give the land to fucking Amalek and then false Israel. Okay, in that land, which is our land first and foremost, but they took it. Okay, they took it from the Arabs, because once we were kicked out, all right, the Arabs came in, and then the Turks took it from the Arabs. Okay, and those Turks are just Edomites. All right, so sinks the match tonic. Yeah, and we're gonna skip down. You know, this is kind of talking about the Lusitania. I'm surprised they didn't actually mention the Lusitania in this one, but we're going to read this one here. February 3rd, 1917, the United States severs diplomatic ties with Germany after U-boat sinks the American grain ship Housatonic. 7 more American ships are sunk in February and March as the Germans sink 500 ships in just 60 days. Damn. April 2nd, 1917, President Woodrow Wilson appears before the U.S. Congress and gives a speech saying the world must be made safe for democracy, then asks Congress for a declaration of war against Germany. Okay? This is how this beast is different from all the others. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. You know, the beast is different because it's Congress and Senate. Okay, there's not really a standing king. Okay, the king is mostly just a puppet at the beck and call of the Senate, and the Senate or Congress, right? Congress today is at the beck and call of high-level Luciferians. Okay, high-level Luciferians, as well as big banking families. The controllers, the chairman of the Fed, okay, high-level illuminated ones, okay, that really are the main controllers of the system, just like in Rome. Okay, that's one of the reasons why Julius Caesar was killed. All right, ooh, Slovakia. That's one of the main reasons Julius Caesar was killed. Julius Caesar. Okay, there was no J back then. Julius Caesar was killed because of that. All right. So this is the end. Yeah, so pretty much German has a finish, an all-out offensive, okay, against the Allies, and they fail, and the U.S. comes in. And yeah, I'm not gonna really go into the rest. They asked for an armistice, and that's that. You know. And technically, yeah, I guess that makes sense. To 5 months, 5 years, it is technically 5 years because there still is some sort of combat even after the war ends. You know, there's still some sort of combat and conflict, mostly in between the German government itself, which I might go ahead and read this on a deeper level in another time. But that's pretty much the basics. That's really what I wanted to hit. This was the last one. So, yeah. So this is the Battle of Amiens, also known as the Third Battle of Picardy. French, I'm not going to say that. It's like Amiens Bataille de Picardy. I don't know. There was an opening phase of the Allied offensive, which began on 8th of August 1918, later known as the 100 Days Offensive, ultimately led to the end of the First World War. Allied forces advanced over 11 kilometers on the first day, one of the greatest advances of the war. But General Henry Rawlinson's British 4th Company was 9 of its 19 divisions, supplied by the fast-moving Australian Corps of Lieutenant General John Monash and the Canadian Corps of Lieutenant General Arthur Currie, playing a decisive role. The battle is also notable for its effects on both sides of morales and the large number of surrounding German forces. It's like Erich Ludendorff today described the first day of the battle as the Black Day of the German Army. Amiens was the first of the major battles involving armored warfare. Okay, but you don't really got to read the rest, you know. Remember, here we just focus on edification, focusing on basic points. There's no need to go deep into these things, especially when you're a guy such as me. You want to mainly focus on getting the knowledge. Okay, so that's all I got. Of course, I want to say Kahala Yahweh, Bashimi Hawashai, Wahal Kadash Waka, Wabarakatah, Shalom, to be continued.